Yes, ma'am. Ms. Baker.
Here.
Mr. Cox. Mr. Dominic. Present. Mr. Epperson. Here. Mr. Escaday. Here. Mr. Jenkins. Present. Mr. Lynn. Here. Ms. Lynch.
Here.
Ms. McCulloch.
Here.
Mr. Pearson. Present. Mr. Smith. Here. Mr. Thibodeau. Here. Have a quorum, Madam President.
Let us stand for our invocation by Commissioner Lynn and our Pledge of Allegiance by Attorney Frazier.
Heavenly Father, thank you for these days that you've laid before us, and thank you so much for bringing everybody together here, especially Commissioner Pearson. We're so glad that he is with us today, and for all the beautiful weather. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. To the flag and say the pledge in unison. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To make a motion to add to the agenda for J.W. Scarborough and Mr. Leonard Indris from the Caddo Soil and Conservation Commission, as well as Ed Myers to speak before the commission today.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded for those agenda additions. Any discussion? Please vote. Okay, that passes. Next item, Mrs. Spears.
Yes, you have the administration report next, man.
Madam President, good afternoon, Commissioners. We have a couple updates we can give you today. First of all, you all know the storm occurred last week. Parish had a response to that action of recovery. I'd like to have Mr. Tim Weaver come forward and kind of give you a synopsis of what we've been doing, trying to help the citizens recover from the damage that occurred last week, storm.
How y'all doing today? I'm just going to give y'all a brief update. We didn't get much publicity in the paper, but mainly the Lakeview subdivision was hit real bad, and on April the 9th. But we had 14 roads in Miss McCullough's area affected, and as of last Thursday, we put in 212 man hours, a little over 100 hours of equipment hours, and about over 200 truckload dump truck road worth of mainly trees and stuff. And we're probably going to give it about a week's break and come back and probably have about the same amount. I just wanted to update y'all on that. Plus, we have waived the, in unison with the City of Shreveport, any fees as far as permits associated with electrical, HVAC, building or plumbing. And so far to date, we've had about 15 permits, about $900 in all electrical permits. I need to get their service back on. Do y'all have any questions?
Commissioner Pearson.
Yeah, Tim, the trees down, the tree truck that we had been talking about, I guess that's the right name for it, that we had talked about earlier in the year. Was it used to any extent during the, what does it actually do?
The limb truck.
Yeah, Todd says it, I guess it had been used. So, I mean, it seems like lately we get a call about once a week for the last month on trees down.
Okay. And because just help me, what does it actually do?
I mean, it actually, pick up the trees like a grappler.
Yeah.
So it helps us out, so we don't have to do it, with a claw on a front end loader or a.
Okay.
Mr. Pearson, that truck picks up the trees and put it in the bed of the truck.
Right.
As opposed to have two pieces of equipment to try to do the same job, we can do it with one piece of equipment and less manpower.
Yeah.
So it would probably been used extensively in this recovery effort, most recently last week.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get.
Kind of like the ones you see that the tree service.
Yeah, I think I have an idea what it does. I was just trying to get an idea of how extensively was it used during this period, during this particular period.
And we've only been working within our right of way, from right of way to not on private property. The local tree service companies are, we're working inside the private property.
Okay.
Commissioner McCullough. Yes, Mr. Wilson, I've kind of briefly spoken with you on this, but I actually had an opportunity to go over and visit the site in Lakeview, the sites in Lakeview, and they did have quite a bit of a disaster today. And if you review your emails, you'll see that I have emailed you, both you and Representative Patrick Williams, in regards to the Lakeview residents' request as far as filing for, what is it, natural disaster or something of that sort. So when you review that email, could you just please give me some feedback on that so that I can communicate with Lakeview?
Right, I think Todd we're keeping up with all the man hours and stuff in case we do get reimbursed, we'll have it all together.
Okay. Adam is late, so you'll have to tell him about all that great stuff that we did for the storm all over again. Thank you, Tim.
All right.
Thanks, Tim. Commissioners, the next item I'd like to talk to you about is during the course of our budget hearings last year, we talked extensively about the health plan, employee health plan. We talked about taking several steps to help reduce the costs. I just want to let you know today that we have taken those steps, and there's a letter at your station that details the efforts we have taken to reduce the cost of the insurance plan. And one of the major provisions of the measure was to streamline the plans from 3 down to 1 plan. We've done that. And the other was to address the retirees, whether or not they qualify for Medicare. So we also taken action on 1 July of this year to complete the last leg of that process. So I'm pleased to say that the efforts we have taken so far in having less sick employees has been a factor on the insurance plan this year. And Erica, you want to add anything to that in terms of costs? Sorry, put you on the spot, Erica.
Now, I guess I could just add that we have seen the plan currently, the amount of the claims have decreased, and a lot of that does have to do with the fact that we do have lower large claims, as we like to identify them. But at any point, if we have claims that are considered large and have a large number, we could have the claims could rise significantly again, but right now the plan seems to be under control. We don't anticipate having a request from the commission any additional monies for the health at this point. What we're outlining to you today in the letter is just that it's a fully insured Medicare plan for those employees that are Medicare eligible.
Commissioner, if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer whatever questions we can for you at this time.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes. In this plan, does it include any prevention, healthcare prevention, or?
Yes, ma'am. The Humana, by the employees, the retirees being able to participate in this plan, they will also be able to participate in any programs that Humana offers in relation to that. They have fitness programs. They have various programs that are geared toward the elderly that the employees can participate in. A lot of the programs that the parish currently does not have because of the type of plan we have.
So it's for the employees and the retirees, or just the retirees?
No, it's, when I say employees, it's retirees. It's retirees that are Medicare eligible. All retirees are not Medicare eligible. They would remain on our plan. It's only those retirees who are currently eligible for Medicare.
Okay. Do you have a list of how many that they are, or what the cost cut would be, or? Because you know when they qualify for Medicare, they automatically are getting Medicare benefits.
That's correct, and this plan will be, right now, Commissioner Baker, we are secondary. Medicare is primary for those employees that are Medicare eligible, and so what this plan is a Medicare supplement. It's in conjunction with Medicare. So they would only have the Humana card, and Humana will process claims. They would get reimbursed from Medicare. So it's about 60 employees. Privacy issues, I can't give you that list of those employees, but it is about 60 employees.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner McCullough?
Yes, I guess this is actually for administration, or maybe Larry Raymond, but I'm going to address the entire commission with it before administration. On last week, I received a call from Attorney Grubb in regards to some timber harvesting that had taken place in North Shreveport Industrial Park. And I don't know, maybe he was trying to make me aware that this would be coming up on the agenda, but this was the first time I had heard of it. And from reading the different communications, it appears that Mr. Roberts with North Shreveport Development, who's not really connected with the park in any way, has taken the authority to sign off on contracts for the harvesting of this timber. Actually, it's North Shreveport Industrial Park Supervisory Board that handles this, along with the industrial, what was that, Rita?
Industrial development.
Industrial Development of Shreveport. It appears that Mr. Roberts, who's affiliated with the North Shreveport Development, has given approval or have signed off on something of which I'm thinking at this point he has no authority. So what I would like for this administration to do is review the actual list of board members that are on the North Shreveport Industrial Board, the list of board members that are actually on the Industrial Park Board, and the North Shreveport Development Board. This letter from Larry Raymond was actually addressed to Mr. Roberts, who they actually met with and who have somewhat given approval. So maybe, Mr. Raymond, you could come up at this time and tell me exactly where does Mr. Bruce Roberts fit in as far as giving approval or signing off on any contracts pertaining to the harvesting of timber within the North Shreveport Industrial Park, because I'm thinking he's a member of North Shreveport Development Park, so he wouldn't have authority to do that, I would think.
This is something that our attorney, Mr. Grubb, is handling, and I don't know if y'all remember, it was sometime last year, I believe, we came to the commission to get authority to sell the timber in the North Shreveport Industrial Park, because we had two independent foresters that contacted us and recommended that the timber needed to be cut. At that time, in looking into it, we were trying to work with the North Shreveport Industrial Board, but basically that board, although it still exists on paper, has not been active for many years, and I think right now they're listed in the Secretary of State's office as not being in good standing. And at that time, we contacted the city of Shreveport. That's when Tom Dark was still the CEO with the city of Shreveport. The property out there is owned, some tracts are owned entirely by the Caddo Parish Commission. Some tracts are owned 50% Caddo Parish Commission, 50% City of Shreveport Industrial Development Board. And in talking with Mr. Dark, we determined that the city was okay with proceeding with the harvesting of the timber, which we proceeded to do. The pulpwood has been cut.
Can I interrupt you right there?
Yes, ma'am.
Based on this communication, Terry Scott indicated that it was that the city didn't have a right to do that.
That's correct. That is a recent development, that the pulpwood had been cut, and when we went out for bid for the selectively marked timber, Weyerhaeuser was the high bid. And they requested that we have the parish sign for the parish timber and the city sign for the city timber. At which point, I believe Mr. Wilson signed, and we sent it to the city. And Ms. Scott, when she looked at it, decided, basically felt like the city didn't have a right to sell the timber that the Industrial Development Board needed to. And that's where we are right now. Mr. Grubb is trying to resolve that issue so that we can accept the Weyerhaeuser bid.
So are you knowledgeable of the fact that Bruce Roberts is not a member of the Industrial Board? Because it sounds like in the communication that you met with him and he signed off on the contract. He's not even a part of either one of those boards.
Well, so far he hasn't signed off on anything. Mr. Grubb is trying to determine who needs to sign off for the Industrial Development Board, and really I'd prefer that he address that issue, because I'm not involved in the legal issues. He's handling it from a legal standpoint.
Well, for the information of this body, could you let them know how much money is involved in the harvesting of this timber?
As I recall, the Weyerhaeuser bid is about $184,000. Of that, the commission would receive, I believe it's 130-something thousand, and the city would receive 20 or 30,000. And when I say the commission, it would go to the Industrial Development Fund, is my understanding, that there is a fund that the money would go to.
So who decided that? That it would go to the industrial, or what decides that it goes to the Industrial Development Fund?
I believe Eric can address that.
Commissioner McCullough, it's the Economic Development Fund. We put those funds that are generated by properties that are attributed to those funds back into that fund. So because of this particular property is related to the Economic Development Fund, we put those funds back into that fund.
So at any
Go back,
point,
it's actually called now, it was once called the Industrial Development Fund, it's now called the Economic Development Fund.
oh, okay, it's no longer Industrial Development Fund. So at any point, does this commission body determine what can be used with this money?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, historically, during the
Ways and
budget
means.
cycle, the commission appropriates those monies.
Because as you know, Mr. Wilson, my concern has been that, although I'm hearing, and I've been told two different stories, that our children won't have swimming pools this summer. So if we can help with that problem or assist with that problem in any way by utilizing these funds, I would be more than happy, since this is being taken out of my district. Thank you, Mr. Raymond.
Finish, Ms. McCullough?
Yes.
Okay. Any other requests for administration?
Madam President, that concludes my report for today.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to suspend rules to allow those persons that were added to the agenda to speak.
So move.
Second.
Without exception, Mr. Scarborough, J.W. Scarborough, Mr. Leonard Indris. You can state your full name and address for the record.
We're going to do you the honors first, and then the rest of them is going to be passed out at this time. Good afternoon, and to the Honorable President and to the rest of the members, we want to thank you very kindly for allowing us to be on your agenda. First, I must take a little privilege and say to our Honorable President, to Honorable Epperson, Pearson, McCullough, Baker, we have worked hard together. I'm not at the present time a privileged jury for some of the new members, and to my other dear friends that's here, Mr. Randy Lucky and Mr. Jerry Spears. We have worked close together, and I just wanted to say hello to all of you all. And to the rest of the members that's here, I'd like to get to know you too. And I'm James Scarborough from Natchitoches. I'm president of the Twin Valley RC&D. Caddo is in our parish, and we cover 8 parishes. And I have a group with us today that we're working together. We have Mr. Brian Belmonte. He's the district conservation, if you will stand. If you don't mind, come on up front, just in case. As I call your name, come up, and we'll do it speedy so we won't take up the agenda. Mr. Dexter Sapp, Resource Conservation of the NRCS State Office, come right up. We have Mr. Britt Paul. Well, he's here. Good, good. He's our assistant to the State Conservation out of Alexander. Mr. Stephen M. Cruz, Area Conservation, coming up. And Mr. Benny Dotson, who is our coordinator for the 8 parish consortium that include Caddo from Natchitoches, and Mr. Leonard Eldridge. He is the resource specialist, Caddo Soil and Water Conservation. You'll raise your hand, Mr. Eldridge? Good. That's who we have with you and with us. Wanted to just give a little highlight. We're going to let them come up and talk. Our President of the United States and your President, Obama, and Congressman has appropriated $3.2 million that came out of the Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009. This will help us to, and not just us, but you all too, to stimulate the economy, create more jobs, and it's north of Caddo in your parish. We're going to be talking about the Red Bayou watershed in the state of Louisiana, but the money was appropriated for Caddo Parish in the state of Louisiana. Mr. Edricks is going to come up and tell you more about it. I have the information. I don't want to steal all of the thoughts, but with you that we have is a resolution that we put together. The first page, and behind the first page, the cover sheet to give you some information of what we are talking about while we're here. The second one is a map to show you, and you can ask questions as you look at it. We have as much time as you need us to be. And the last one is a resolution that we'd like for you all to consider here at your work session. Look at it, ask any question, and on Thursday, if we can make our presentation, that will have you all in a position to vote on it Thursday at your regular meeting. That's the reason we are here. Mr. Edwards will tell you more about the jobs and everything and what it's going to do. The rest of the gentlemen is here and myself will be able to take questions and help him to answer. Again, we want to thank you for allowing us to be on the agenda. At this time, Mr. Edwards will come and make his presentation.
Thank you, Mr.
Well, I can
Andrews,
assure
could
you
you
this will
state
be-
your full name and address
yes,
for the
ma'am.
record, please?
My name is Leonard Endress, and I'm a resource specialist with the Caddo Soil and Water Conservation District. I reside at 7845 Choctaw Lane in Shreveport. Well, actually, I guess you'd say Blanchard. And this project, ladies and gentlemen, goes back to 1997. By the way, first of all, I'd like to say on behalf of the board, thank you for agreeing to enter into the agreement of understanding that we have with the Caddo, you have now, with the Caddo Soil and Water Conservation District. You recall that I think you appropriated somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000 or so that went in for technical assistance education to our district to help us help the Caddo citizens. And so I want to thank you. That money is being put to good use, and I think you'll see in our reports, our weekly reports, to reassure you of just that. But what I'm here for is to just bring you up to speed on this. As Scarborough said, that because of the American Recovery Act, this $3.2 million has been made available to Caddo Parish. But it will require a $1 million match, local match, and we're not coming to you from that. But we'll be seeking that in all likelihood from the state of Louisiana, from different funding sources. But we are requesting that you take a look at the project, have any questions that you might have for us to answer, just so that you'll feel comfortable about what's going on. But it entails, briefly, as you said, in essence, is taking water from the Red River into Red Bayou from about, just below the Highway 2, from the bridge above Gillum. And then we'll, in essence, be creating a small a miniature Cane Lake, your Cane River, as you're like in Natchitoches, where you have a dead bayou that has become a reservoir. That's in essence what would happen to Red Bayou. And then from it would be available for irrigation purposes. It's all housed within Mr. Dominic's district. I believe it was brought back in '97, and of course we've been working on it up for about 6 or 7 years. But Mr. McCrary, who was in hopes of earmarking some federal funds for us, for whatever reason that did not materialize, and so the project was basically shelved. But now it's come to light again, and so we're in the process. We're shuffling around pretty fast and hard this week because, with the state legislature just beginning to crank up again in just a very, very short period of time. So we're starting we just found out today at a meeting, in fact, that today was your work session, so we hustled up here to visit with you. Good morning. Just to kind of let you know, because obviously without the support of the local folks, there's no point in going through with it, obviously. And I do have, and I want you, if you have some questions, but to be more precise and to give you a real feel for it, if you can spare like 2 or 3 minutes. Mr. Britt Paul is with the Water Resources Division from our state office, and I've asked him to just kind of really tell you really and truly what's involved in this thing, if you don't mind. Thank you so much.
Mr. Paul, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
I'm Britt Paul. I'm the Assistant State Conservationist for Water Resources for the Natural Resources Conservation Service out of Alexandria, Louisiana. And basically, they gave you the general idea of what the project is. It's a project that was developed in conjunction with the Caddo Soil and Water Conservation District and the North Caddo Irrigation District. And the basic premise behind it is to take the water out of the Red River through a pump system, put it through a pipeline, put it into Red Bayou for use by the farmers in that area. It will also include the installation of some soil and water conservation practices on those farms to protect the water quality in that bayou and the surrounding watershed. And so this project was submitted for funding through the Recovery Act. We received that funding from the federal side, and now the need is for the match from the local side. And so the district is working, and they're seeking the support of this body then to move forward to the state legislature to seek those dollars. And I'll answer any questions if y'all have any about the project in specific.
They're here.
Well, no,
Well, the rules are suspended. Since we allowed them to come, I think,
If you don't mind.
that's just your preference. We allowed them to come. This is an issue that's relevant to us.
Commissioner Dominique?
I just have a couple questions. It says $1 million. I just want to make sure this is clear with you guys, where I'm understanding the $1 million local match is a state match. It's not from this body.
No, it's not from this, but it needs to be from our perspective as a federal agency. With the federal funds flow through our agency, through USDA. We're a division of USDA.
Yeah, but where it says the $1 million are local match.
That would be
from the state of Louisiana.
Right. For the federal money to come, it has to be matched with local dollars. Now, those local dollars can be any funding source as long as it's not a federal source. And so, as I understand it, the district is going to be seeking those funds through the state legislature.
Okay. And how soon do we know we're going to actually get this money if the $1 million match?
If the match comes through, the federal money is available. Yes.
How soon after that will we be able to start working?
The design is complete, so once they need to acquire the necessary land rights, which shouldn't be a big deal, but that's what the local Soil and Water Conservation District and the Irrigation District is working on at this present time. Probably about 3 to 6 months after the funding is approved, we should begin to start work.
And the farmers that use the actual water, do they have to pay anything to?
Yeah, it would through the Irrigation District. The Irrigation District will be the local sponsor. They are the local sponsor that will sign the agreement with the federal government, being the USDA, to install the project. And then they will be responsible for operating and maintaining it. So they'll have to operate and maintain that pump. So they will have to put in some metering system on the water that's delivered to the farms for them to recoup the money to operate and maintain the project. Okay. That'll be a local concern with the North Caddo Irrigation District.
Okay, that's all I have.
Commissioner Pearson?
How big will the reservoir be?
It will be within the channel of the existing Red Bayou. There will be no excavation of that Red Bayou channel. But it's a pretty large natural body of water now. It's basically a dead stream. Since it was an old run of the river, it's been cut off years ago, and it's just basically sits there, and as the rainfall replenishes it, the farmers use some of it, but it's not a steady supply, not a dependable supply. So putting the pump station in from the Red River will make that a dependable supply to keep that bayou full to be utilized by the farmers. And also, it'll improve the habitat in that bayou as well for fish and wildlife.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that's the other thing about the recreation aspect of that. Will that somehow be in, well, you said, fish and wildlife, but if you're going to have a reservoir, then perhaps you'll have homes around it, perhaps cabins, or perhaps...
That's the future economic development down the road, I think, that could happen. This project is basically just to get the water supply in place, but we do anticipate there will be some additional recreation just from fishing and being able to utilize that body of water for that.
Okay, well, I'm glad Commissioner Dominic made mention of the $1 million because that's a concern of mine, the $1 million match. And if we, how sure are you sure that you can get the $1 million from the state government?
I'm not sure. That's going to be the local concern. That's the job of the Soil and Water Conservation District and the North Caddo Irrigation District, but that is what they're seeking to do, to match the federal funds that are available.
Okay, and our support of the resolution means what?
It would help the district when they go to the state legislature to know that this body is behind them, the local parish in which this project would be installed and where the benefits would be realized, is that this parish governing body would be supportive of that.
And it doesn't suggest that we would be responsible for the $1 million?
Oh, no, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Escudé?
I'm going to ask the questions. You may not be the one to answer them, so whoever has the answer. Originally, when the project was conceived, what catalyst of events or what triggered the necessity for this project?
Just the need for dependable irrigation supply for the farmers.
Because of the depletion of the aquifers?
There's been, and just not the ability to not be able to have good, steady supply of groundwater. and it kind of comes and goes, and those wells do not yield a large quantity of water in that area. So there's been a need for a long time to have some dependable irrigation. Some of the farmers have been able to pump out of the Red River now or out of the Red Bayou, but that was only limited for the time that they could get access to that water. This project would then put water in Red Bayou for a sustained period of time for them to be able to get it.
It's going to be strictly for irrigation purposes?
But it does more than just irrigation. That's the main reason for it. That's really what, as you said, what brought it about was the need for irrigation. But by doing so, it improves the habitat in the Red Bayou system and provides economic benefit for the whole area, actually.
How many farmers or farms do you anticipate?
About 40 farms.
40 farms?
Average about 300, 350 acres in size, you know.
How many gallons they go through a year? Do you have any estimates
No,
on
sir,
that?
I don't have the estimate on the irrigation quantity, no.
Who will have the jurisdictional authority over the operation of this?
The North Caddo Irrigation District, which is a
Will the board have
subdivision.
anything to do with it?
They would not, no, not now. As I understand it, the North Caddo Irrigation District, it would be responsible for operating and maintaining this project. And there are subdivisions of...
Anything to do with this? To any of you gentlemen's knowledge?
Would the
Good.
levy board be in?
There was no-
Nothing in that respect. They are a sponsor. They signed on as a supporter.
They'll require coordination for the pump system, the transmission system over the levee, but the actual operation of the system, of the irrigation system, the water and that sort of thing would be the North Caddo
We'll be
Irrigation District.
comfortable you guys can do your thing without them. That's all. Thank you.
Commissioner Thibodeau?
The 75 jobs that are spoken about in the resolution, those are primarily jobs to do the project.
There'll be construction jobs, and then the soil and water conservation practices that will come along with the irrigation pipelines, irrigation land leveling, that requires work and requires folks and then people to do that work,
But
and that's
the
where that
vast majority of that is temporary jobs, right?
Yes, sir. Not a whole lot of, I guess, sustained jobs as you would think. But if the project develops and you do have more irrigation that comes online, there will be the need for more irrigation type systems and that type of ag industry that would be there.
Let me ask, have any other parishes signed on this resolution already?
No, sir, this is the
Parish
first.
governing bodies?
No, ma'am, this is
For the
the
first?
first.
Okay. Is there
First
other
opportunity.
parishes in this, or is it just the?
It's Caddo. It's Caddo.
Is it just
It's
for us?
Caddo,
Okay. On the resolution where it has local match, and I know you're saying that it's state, but can that read state match?
Well, from our perspective as a federal agency, as long as it's not federal money, local money can come from a variety of sources.
Okay.
So that's
So it
that's
just
from our
leaves it
perspective.
open.
Right, that
Okay,
leaves it
gotcha.
open. There may be an opportunity to get money from other sources besides state. I don't know that. But from a federal perspective, as a federal agency, it has to be just local, as long as it's not federal, that's all.
Okay, all right, thank you. Commissioner Baker?
If you don't get the local match from the state, then where will you get your money?
If the local money doesn't come, the project will not happen. This $3.2 million of federal dollars will go back to the Treasury,
So it's
unfortunately.
based on just the state giving you the local match?
It's local money, as long as it comes from some other source besides federal, yes, ma'am. It doesn't have to come from the state, but that's the most logical spot for the district to go seek the funds, yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Dominique?
Just kind of a little bit more update. This thing's been going on for quite some while. Waiting for I was commissioner, aware of it, and through the fact that I'm from the agricultural farming community, I understand the need of the water. You're exactly right. There's a tremendous amount of water wells in the area, and they just don't produce a lot of water, and it really would help the agriculture. You say it's about 40 farmers that would be?
That's our estimate, about 40 farms along that bayou that could benefit to tap into.
The irrigation district, Commissioner Escudé brought up one good point. Is that, and I don't know, this may be Randy or Woody's the question, the irrigation district that he's talking about, is that something that we actually created, or who created and developed the irrigation district? I see Mr. Leonard.
They are under the umbrella of the Caddo Soil and Water Conservation District. And they were, in truth, created specifically for this project.
Sir, to the mic.
Come to the mic.
To the mic.
I keep forgetting where I... Pardon me, I'm sorry.
They were created, the North Caddo Irrigation District was created actually out of the need for this project. They are an umbrella, a subsidiary, a part of the Caddo Soil and Water Conservation District.
But who appoints the members? Do we appoint those members?
No, sir, they are already appointed, although, you know, like you said, it's been 8 years now that the project is being resurrected.
But who appointed them?
I know they were appointed by the Caddo Soil and Water Conservation District.
Okay, that's what
They asked, would you be willing, and those that were, were. Then these are predominantly, of course, those who would be most affected. They're predominantly farmers.
Right.
I could name names, but there are.
Give me, especially yours, I need your card, if you give it to Mr. Lucky.
If I had a card, I'd give you one, sir, but I've been retired. I was the district conservationist here for a number of years. I've been retired for 5 or 6. I kind of, like Randy, I just sort of write my name on a piece of paper and
This kind of came up all of a sudden, that's why it's on our agenda today. I just spoke to Mr. Leonard today by phone. I was trying to get an update on this.
Yes, we apologize. This hit us just out of the blue, and just by luck, visiting Mr. Scarborough, checked with your president and said, well, we're meeting today at 3:30, so they hustled up from Natchitoches, and we came over from North Market, and so here we are.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay.
I would like to just add a little something else too to that to clarify. We also been working on it, and we have the list of those that serve on the agriculture, forestry, and rural development. And those are people that we will contact, the legislators and your legislators here. The reason we're asking you all consider the resolution that all your state representatives here and senators, they will know that the Caddo Parish Commission is supporting this $3.2 million program. We have already started, and our appropriation chairman is Fannin, Representative Fannin from Jonesboro. And we met with my representative from Natchitoches, which is Rick Nowlin, and he's going today, and they're going to meet, and it was understood that he's the head of the appropriation committee, which is Fannin, and that's where we intend to tap the resources to get the $1 million from. The chances look good. What we need is support. We're going to ask the municipalities, which is the mayors and councilmen, to do a resolution. We will bring a resolution, they will insert their name and pass it. So when we talk to your senators up here, your state representatives, we want you all to talk to them, and we will be able to have sponsors and co-sponsors to sign on so we can pass to get the $1 million. It depends on the wheel that screeches the loudest is going to get the grease, and we intend to screech real loud for that.
Okay.
The other thing I want to say before I sit down is that you all, the Caddo Commission, has a seat on the Twin Valley RC&D board. One of the members that used to serve with us was Miss Rose McCullen, and what's our other friend was named?
Sharon Rogers.
Right, Mr. Rogers. So I would ask that this work session that you all would consider and find out someone who is dedicated, committed, and willing to drive to Natchitoches when we meet. We have annual, and we always meet y'all to come for the annual affairs. We do need a hard-working member from the Caddo Commission to serve on the Twin Valley RC&D. You all make that decision, and whatever we need to do, you let us know, and we will play that part. I've been chairman of this organization for 25 years. I've been with it for more than 30. I like what I'm doing. I'm free, and I'm not on salary.
Okay.
Thank you all very much. Is there any other question before we move out?
You did good.
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much for having us on the agenda. And to the rest of the members that I hadn't met, I will be meeting you soon, and we look forward to work together. And we don't want to lose this stimulus money because we got to have it all committed before September of 2010. It's a blessing for $3.2 million to come, federal money to Shreveport and Caddo, and we're going to work hard to get the $1 million to go with it.
Okay.
Thank you all again, and have a good evening.
All righty, thank you all.
Okay.
Mr. Ed Myers,
We're going to ease away.
Thank you, lady. Thank you.
How you doing? Good to see you too.
quickly, sir.
Hi, Jay.
State your full name and address for the record.
My name is Ed Myers. I live on Primitive Baptist Church Road. I was here on the 9th. I was presented with a real fabulous plaque by Ms. McCullough. Would you come in just a minute?
Oh, okay.
More dog.
I got it.
This plaque reads, presented to Commissioner Rose Wilson McCullough for your loyal support and dedication to the Pine Hill Water Board. Thanks for your being there when we needed you, and when E. Myers, President of the Pine Hill Water Board.
Thank you. Can I also put on that I did receive a St. Christopher from you on last week?
Can.
Okay, well, thank you.
I'm the president of the
for
Pine
that.
Hill Water Board, that's right.
Okay, thank you. Motion to go back in the regular session? Okay, without exception. Next item, Mr. Spears.
Communication reports, I have none on the agenda.
Any commissioners have any communique from their district reports? Commissioner Pearson?
I don't have a report, but I just thought I'd just take this time to thank everyone who called and sent flowers, who prayed and just wished me well during the time I had surgery. It means an awful lot to hear from your comrades. Sometimes you talk, sometimes you just know that they've called, or sometimes you just feel them. And so those who visited and all, for all the well wishes, I really appreciate it, and I thank you so much. And I'm on the road to recovery. I had to come back so y'all realize you can do without me.
Let me say, I offered to cook something for him.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I'm
on the road to recovery.
Thank you very much.
Next item, Mrs. Spears.
No old business on the agenda. Our new business begins with ordinance 4879, amends the juvenile justice fund budget for family and legal services, $15,000. Recommend for Thursday. Second.
Commissioner Lynn was a little slow getting that out. Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Dominique. Any discussion? Commissioner Escaday?
I'm probably asleep at the wheel here. Did we discuss this in the juvenile meeting? Okay, that's the item, then I know what it's about. Thank you.
Please vote. Commissioner McCullough and my own vote. Okay, that passes. Next item.
Yes, ordinance 4880, sales adjudicated properties.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Epperson, second by Commissioner Baker. Any discussion? Please vote. Passes. Next item.
Ordinance, resolution number 10, authorizes the administrator to retain special legal counsel.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Lynn. Let me ask a question. What is this for? And I probably didn't look at my thing.
Resolution to increase special counsel for the
Oil and gas.
oil and gas.
Is that to change the Attorney Frazier?
To retain him, yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Vote. That passes. Next item.
Resolution number 11, authorizes administrator to ask the State Mineral Board to lease certain mineral interests for Helios.
Like to pull this resolution. I understand we have some other people who might be interested in it.
Okay, Commissioner Smith has pulled that resolution 11, second by Commissioner Epperson. Any discussion?
I didn't hear why he said.
Why did you
I'm sorry.
articulate why?
According to our department here, we have some other people who may be interested, so we may get some more bids for it, increased bids.
Commissioner Thibodeau?
As I understand it, we have to have at least one company to request the lease so that it goes to the state, and then anybody that anyone can bid on it, as I understand. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct. Helios was the original applicant, and they just wanted more time to review a bunch of the acreage figures. Now it's hard for a company to come in and look at road right-of-ways, adjudicated property, and parish-owned property, and it's just hard for them to get a handle on the figures. They just want another 2 weeks to do that, so they'll come back next meeting.
But anybody can bid on it?
Anybody can bid on it. Yeah, once you approve the resolution, then it goes down to the state, and that's where the actual leasing will occur. It'll be a sealed bid, and anybody, can bid on it.
Commissioner Escaday?
Is that what we're talking about, mostly adjudicated property, rights of way, that kind of stuff?
Yes, sir. I mean, the vast majority of it is roads. There's a little bit, we've started adding the adjudicated property into it, and it's a very small amounts, just depending on the amount of sections involved, but it might be 3 or 4 acres out of 100.
Well, in this particular case, what are we talking about?
I don't have that with me. I don't, let me think for a second. I think theirs was like maybe 9 acres. It's not a large amount of land, but it's a lot of small tracts. So it's hard for them to look at it. We've got the information and the mapping to go with it that we can show them how to do it.
Thanks.
Commissioner Thibodeau?
If this satisfies Mr. Smith, I don't know if it does or not.
It does. I probably misstated what I was supposed to say, but he's telling you what we need to do.
Okay. Then, if he's satisfied with that, I'd like to include Resolution 12 and Resolution 13 with 11, because they all are for the same thing.
I think they're different companies, though.
There's different companies.
Yes.
That was, Ilios was requested that. These other two have nothing to do with that.
Right.
I understand that, but these other two are asking, they're requesting the opportunity to bid. So, I mean, if you
No, they're the original applicants.
I realize that, but all this would go down to the state for bid, right?
Correct, but you have to have somebody has to initiate it.
Well, you've got somebody in all of it. You've got Clark in one and Classic in the other.
Correct.
But he's gonna pull them 11, give them 2 more.
Yeah, you pull them, it won't get, it has to be voted on.
He said he was not going to pull it. Is that-
No, I'm saying we want to pull it.
Oh, okay.
Pulling on 11,
Okay,
12,
okay, I'm sorry.
Correct.
Just a
I'm
left.
sorry. Okay.
You're clear?
I'm clear
Okay,
now.
all right. We're voting on pulling Resolution 11. Please vote.
We want to go to 11, we want to go to 11 and 12.
Escaday and Commissioner Baker. Okay, that passes. Next item.
Yes, same thing for Clark Energy and Classic Petroleum, Mr. Thibodeau.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Was that Resolution 12 and 13?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Dominique. Any discussion? Please vote. Commissioner Escaday, push a little harder. Thank you. Next item.
Resolution 14 supports an application for funding for the Recreational Trails Grant Program for L.G. Williamson.
Move to Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Dominique, second by Commissioner Pearson. No discussion. Please vote. Commissioner McCullough. That passes. Next item.
Resolution 15 supports Caddo Parish's application for a community water enrichment grant for drilling 2 test wells in Water District Number 7.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Thibodeau. Any discussion? Please vote. Okay, thank you. That passes.
Resolution 16 approves water enrichment grant for drilling wells for the village of Ida.
Move to Thursday. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Dominique, second by Commissioner Smith. Any discussion? Commissioner Dominique?
Just, Don, on resolution number 15, it says, somewhere in there I was reading a while ago, the one that deals with, the other water district, it said Ida. So,
Right.
down in the body of it, it says somewhere in Ida, on the actual resolution. In the actual resolution, you got a typo that says Ida on the one for, water district number 7. Okay.
Please vote. That passes. Next item.
Yes, take out Nellis and Associates and put in Goody Clancy on a previous commission motion regarding fee schedule.
Thursday.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner McCullough. Any discussion? Please vote. Okay, thank you. That passes. Next item.
Authorize expansion of the parameters outside the 5-mile planning radius to include Caddo Parish's participation in parish-wide master planning.
Moved by Commissioner McCullough, Second by Commissioner Epperson. Any discussion? Okay, let me let the maker of the motion, Commissioner McCullough, do you have anything?
Actually, I wanted to kind of give an update again on the Rural Commissioners meeting. You know, this particular item was tabled, and I really wanted to call a meeting because since then we've gotten a letter from Steve Prater in support of this idea, so that's why I was really calling the meeting to possibly untable this item.
Commissioner Epperson?
What I'm thinking about, Mr. Chairman of the Rural Commissioners Committee, I think what we could do here today is make a report since we've had the meeting previously.
Okay.
And we can call for a vote upon the action that transpired in that particular meeting. It can be accepted, rejected, or amended. And providing on what happens there, then we, wouldn't have a need for a Rural Commissioners meeting, because it appears to me if we do this now, we'll be doing something on the front end of an action that hasn't transpired yet.
Well, actually, we don't vote on it until Thursday.
Right, but still, I think you could give your committee report.
Okay.
So, but if we vote for this, then that would mean that
It'll be moved to Thursday.
Would be moved to Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, I'll go along with that.
But the report is, what I've said before, is that when the idea was presented to the committee, as a matter of fact, it was you, Commissioner Epperson, that tabled the idea of expanding the parameters.
Right.
And I think it was Escadate that seconded. But again, I shared with you at the last commission meeting, my main reason for supporting this is because of the experience I had with McKeebo landfill and not having the support of, MPZ zoning or the city or anybody, and based on the fact that the people, overwhelmingly opposed this. We had over 500 or 600 people that showed up at Northwood High School in opposition to this, and yet this landfill was shoved down those people's throat. As a matter of fact, it's set right in their backyard. So I just didn't want, again, I didn't want this to ever happen again, although now, if I'm not mistaken, this landfill is probably now, since the last census count, Commissioner Dominique, it might be in your district. If not, it still remains in mine, but I just wouldn't want to have that experience again. I appreciated the fact that our CEO submitted a letter in support of it, and I also appreciate the fact that our sheriff has now done the same thing, so that's why I wanted to bring it back to the table again. So, I mean, we still can vote Thursday as to whether or not we want to expand the parameters. But I wanted to untable the item.
Commissioner Jenkins?
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to be clear on what we mean when we say we are authorizing this. I'm not real certain what it means in terms of expense to us and in terms of impact on people outside the 5-mile radius. I'm not real clear. Maybe someone who's sponsoring this can tell me what those dollar figures are going to mean and what kind of impact it's going to have on people outside of the 5-mile radius.
You're posing that question to Commissioner McCullough?
I'm posing the question, Madam President, anyone who could possibly answer the question.
Okay.
Actually, I spoke with our administration prior to this meeting.
Hold on,
He would be willing to address that.
I'm trying not to call you Commissioner, but.
I'm going to call a lot of stuff.
Mr.
Go ahead.
It's my pet name for you.
Madam President, as you all know, we did, the main emphasis here seemed to be what the cost is going to be for the parish to go beyond the MPC limits. We did ask Ms. Dr. Brown last time she was here, and prior to that, you and I met with her initially to give us a cost, and we haven't yet to receive that. So we're still waiting to get that information from her. And she appeared before you last time we met Thursday, and she didn't quite convey what the cost would be yet. So actually, I'm still waiting on the cost.
I'm going to have some difficulty supporting a proposition that where there's no explanation of what the cost is going to be to do it. just me personally, I thought a little more information concerning this was going to be brought forward along the lines of cost. I thought this was in a committee that was exploring that, and I had expectations that that committee would probably come back and give us some kind of report as to what they thought about it. I can only speak for myself today. I have some problems moving forward with an item if the committee hasn't finished its work, first of all, and then secondly, if we have no idea how much money we're finna authorize someone to spend. That's what I got a problem with, the word authorize. Thank you, ma'am.
Commissioner Thibodeau?
Yeah, I had some of the same concerns. The cost, of course, is one. Secondly, probably just as important is the scope of the work that we anticipate to be done. I would like to at least see some broad explanation or plan of what that work would entail. Right now, I don't know what it would be. Without that or cost, I'm not going to support it.
Commissioner Escudé?
Yes, I concur with Commissioner Thibodeau and Commissioner Jenkins. You know, first question is how much? And secondly is how broad? I mean, I think before we vote to authorize this, as Mr. Jenkins points out, we'll be going forward with it and with no criteria. I mean, I think the committee needs to study this, not over the time, but maybe look at Bozier's three-tiered plan and see how they did it, because you have extreme rural areas and moderately rural areas and some that are mildly rural, and it's not a one-stop fits all. So if we don't define what it is we want, then we'd be willing to have to sit here and have a blank check, in other words, because you never know what they're going to come back with. Secondly, I am open to exploring the possibility to do this, but only because some of you feel like it may be important. I have heard no people that I know in the rural areas, and I have some rural area, ask for this, say they wanted this. I haven't talked to any town mayors or aldermen in Vivian, All City, Keithville, Greenwood, Blanchard, that are interested in this. So it seems the interest is coming from within the city. That's where the interest is. I also know another thing, that possibly one of the areas that we probably do need to look at to plan, and this is just an idea of where we go in the future, is particularly maybe north with the I-49 corridor, some broad range planning. But as you've heard me say many, many times, we can have all the plans in the world, but if we don't get a water problem taken care of there, this is all meaningless. And secondly, I've read over the letter from the good sheriff, and everybody else recommended this, and I thought it's kind of interesting that you requested we did not discriminate against persons outside the MPC area, and I'm like, that's a strong word, discriminate. I haven't had anybody outside the MPC's jurisdiction come and say, we want this. In fact, everybody that I talk to in the rural areas say, we don't want this, leave us alone. That's why we're out here. And then, of course, we're reminded by the good sheriff that it's our duty to listen to all the citizens, as well as one elected official to another. I believe I know what my duties are. I've been in office long enough. I kind of find that insulting. But nonetheless, I'm open for planning, for broad-based, not intrusive planning, but we've got a lot of discussion and work to set the perimeters, to set the boundaries of what we want and find out how much it's going to cost before we vote on this. So we've got work to do. I think this is premature today. Thank you.
Commissioner Pearson.
Without being redundant, I am open for planning. I'm not quite ready to make a blanket authorization at this point, but I do want to have some discussion because I do feel strongly about the idea. The idea, I think, is a good idea. Thank you.
Commissioner Donovan.
Thank you. I have some of the same concerns, and I expressed this in our committee meeting. Number one, my district will be affected the most. And it is the largest district out in the rural area, and ever since this stuff has been talked about, I have not had one single person say, hey, this is what we need. They're telling me the same thing Commissioner Escudé says, that they want to be left alone. They don't want to have anything to do with MPC or the MPC having a part of them. The other concerns was how much is this going to cost?
how can we vote on something when we don't know how much it's gonna cost? If we do vote on it, you're gonna have added expenses, annual expenses for the MPC going out the entire parish. How much is that gonna cost? Number three, you have the MPC, which is composed of not one rural person that I know of, not one single rural person on that MPC that's going to be making decisions for the rural areas. Is there going to be a separate MPC? I don't know. These are things that we need to look at. We've heard about the tiering system, and that's all they say is the tiering system. I'd like to see something more concrete in writing. I guess I'm somewhat open to the idea for planning along the I-49, but I just think that if you get out into the rural areas, people have been living up there for 200 years in Oil City, Odessa, outside of Vivian. I just find it hard to believe that they want to be zoned in any way whatsoever, and I have a lot of concerns about this. I definitely don't think that we need to authorize any moving forward. I know we're supposed to have a committee meeting today or this afternoon. I don't know if that's still on or not, but I think that in our last committee meeting, there was voted to table on this. So I'm definitely not going to go forward with it.
Commissioner Smith?
Since I don't have any incorporated areas in Keithville and the areas out there, my constituents really are interested in planning. And of course, the recent oil and gas exploration has brought that to the forefront, I think, of planning. So most of my area really does want some planning. Now, how much in depth, of course, I don't know, and we don't have that planned. But I think that's something we need to keep in mind for the rural areas who are not incorporated to protect their environment.
Commissioner McCullough.
Okay, let me do two things. Well, I can't do the one thing at a time. First of all, I want to cancel this rural commissioners meeting because the only thing we can simply do is discuss what's already been discussed, right, Commissioner Epperson? Secondly, I would like to ask the administration again you've heard the concerns of the commissioners at our next meeting, and I don't know that that's going to involve bringing Mrs. Brown back to the table, but I do know she discussed that it could be, based on levels or the need, there can be some kind of adjustment. I'm going to ask that this administration, try to get with her to see if maybe we can come together as a committee and maybe talk with Ms. Brown and get some of these questions or solutions answered or solved. And let's see. And I'm going to make a motion to withdraw this item from today's agenda to be voted on, move to Thursday's agenda. Can I get a second?
Second. Okay. Moving and seconded to pull this agenda item. Any discussion? Yes. Commissioner Epperson.
I think that's the right decision, Madam Chair. First of all, we should resolve what transpired in that initial commission meeting. I think we should do that on the communicating reports upon Thursday. It appears as though the body is willing to explore some forms of expanding the parameters of potential master plan out into the area. However, we want some costs and some analysis prior to that. So I would certainly support that, and I would hope that we would do that, make the committee report on the communications and reports. The committee did vote on and make a recommendation, which was the table, which I in turn will not support that item myself. My district has about 50% rural commissioners, and we have some very nice subdivisions and areas that's coming out within those rural areas that the people are concerned about controlled growth and development. So a number of my constituents are. So I think that would be the direction that we take Thursday, and hopefully that you all will vote my motion down to table it, and then I would certainly support a motion to have the administration explore costs and the concerns that many of you has expressed here today. Thank you.
Yesterday?
I will support you at that time, Mr. Epperson. I think we need to visit this. I think our committee, all we did was table it. In essence, if you strictly interpret the rules, it was tabled for that meeting. It doesn't mean it can't ever come back up again. Okay, we can bring it back up. But what I do think we need to do is meet and discuss among us, and most of us have rural area, what our concerns are in these areas to devise, or come up with what it is we need to do as far as planning, so that we can tell them what we want to do. And you have to understand that once the planning is brought to us, we accept or reject part of it, all of it, or whatever. It's not a done deal. But I just think we need to let them know, together, define our concerns and our areas that we think we'd like for them to study, and then come to consensus on that. Let them study it and see what they come up with. So whether we meet today or not, that we still need to have that meeting. That lady that Ms. McCullough's talking about is going to stand up here and tell us what all they can do for it. They can do anything we ask them to do. We have to decide what it is we feel important that we want them to research for us. But I will support you, Mr. Epperson. Thank you.
Commissioner McCullough?
Well, according to Attorney Grubb, Commissioner Epperson, and I think I explained that to you, but he said that because it was tabled in the committee meeting, you have to go back into your committee meeting to get it,
May I answer that?
versus, killing it in the commission meeting. So I
The purpose of a committee is to study and dissect something and bring it back, digest it to the larger body. The larger body can accept, reject, or amend.
Okay.
So we will take care of that Thursday with what we've just done here.
Okay.
And then you can sit a subsequent meeting and we can get into some specifics. But let's not have the persons come down again. We know what they can do until we tell them what we want them to do for us.
Okay.
We're going to have a committee meeting today?
And so we'll be expecting administration to do that? Or we're gonna, if we're not gonna
everything is in our court now.
Okay.
Don't let Charles confuse you again. Next item?
We need a vote.
Okay.
Where's the item?
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Thibodeau, register as,
Yes.
okay, that passes. Next item?
Appoint Ms. Josie Harris to serve on Parish's representative on Board of Human Service District.
So moved.
Second.
Just a quick question. What is the Human Service?
Moved by Commissioner Epperson, second by Commissioner McCullough. That is when Ms. Kamara and Jerry Kamara came, I guess it's about, was it 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks before that? They talked about the Human Service District. That those were,
okay.
yes, and so this is a person to work with them on that. Please vote. Okay, that passes. Next item.
Authorize representative from Andrew Walker Drilling Company as a visitor on.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Epperson, second by Commissioner Smith. Any discussion? Commissioner Epperson?
If I may, the person that will speak in behalf of the company would be Charles Tutt, T-U-T-T.
Please vote. That passes. Next item.
Authorize Mr. Jeffrey Goodman as a visitor for Thursday.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Lynn. Any discussion? Please vote. Commissioner Smith, push one more time. Okay, that passes. Thank you. Next item.
And authorize Marky Peer to talk about the film industry on Thursday.
Madam President, I would like to have this removed from the agenda.
Second.
They're going to come to the committee meeting. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Baker, moved by Commissioner Baker, second by Commissioner Epperson. Any discussion? Please vote. Commissioner McCullough, one more time. Thank you. Commissioner Dominique? No, I'm sorry, your motion.
I'd like to expand the agenda to, in regards to the resolution of support for the Red Bayou Watershed District.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Dominique, second by Commissioner McCullough. This will require unanimous vote to expand the agenda. Mr. Bowman, please. Please vote. We got one more time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Pierce? Okay, thank you. That passes. Now your motion.
I will move that resolution in support of the Red Bayou Watershed District be placed on the Thursday's agenda.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Dominique, second by Commissioner Escaday. Any discussion, Commissioner Thibodeau?
Yeah, I wonder if I might amend it to ensure that that does not include $1 million by, when it says local, we might put in there other than commission dollars.
Attorney Frazier, you doctor on this a little bit for us?
Yes,
Make
ma'am.
sure we're not on the hook. Commissioner Epperson?
That's what I wanted.
Okay, no other discussion, please vote. Okay, one more time, Commissioner McCullough. Okay, thank you. All righty, all the rest, I think, is consent agenda. So, I'll entertain a motion. Meeting adjourned.
Consent. Okay. Under consent. Okay.